We're in Ludlow, England, which is on the border of Wales and England. It's a lot of history here. One of the most historical mysteries happened right here in Ludlow at Ludlow Castle. Do you know what it is? We're heading to the castle now. So as promised, I brought you to Ludlow Castle, right behind me. So what is the big historical mystery? Do you know? Well, Henry VIII, everyone knows who Henry VIII was. He was married to Catherine of Aragon. Well, before she married Henry, she married his brother Arthur, who was supposed to be the king, and they lived right here at Ludlow Castle. Arthur died a year later, and Henry ended up marrying Catherine. Well, what is the big mystery? Years after Henry and Catherine married, they did not have a son. Henry wanted a way out, so he used the biblical verse that you cannot marry your brother's wife, or you will never have children. Well, they did have a daughter, but that wasn't good enough. Henry wanted a male heir. So he used this to get out of the marriage. Of course, it wasn't that easy. He had to actually break from the Pope and the Catholic religion and begin his own religion, which is the Church of England. The mystery is Catherine swears they never consummated the marriage. She said Arthur was always too sick. But Arthur, the day after the honeymoon, he bragged to all of his friends, being a teenager and all, he bragged he had spent the night in Spain. Well, Catherine was Spanish, so did they or didn't they? We'll never know. But regardless, it changed the course of England and history and religion, starting with the Church of England. Let's go inside and see where it all happened. Here is the round chapel dating back to the 1100s. It's inside the inner bailey of the castle. What's really cool is I have this place to myself. I love that! Love it! No other tourist. Here we are inside the actual round chapel. Imagine how high it would have actually been. So this behind me would have been the actual Great Hall and the royal chambers. So I'm entering the royal chambers. And do you guys remember when we went to Castle Rising, we went to the haunted palace, supposedly, where Queen Isabella was at? Remember her and her lover, Roger Mortimer, killed her husband, who was the king? Well, this is where Roger lived. Wow, look at this up there. Look at that window, with part of the window covering, old window covering still on it. This is cool. Really cool. The Great Hall. Of course, I don't know because there's no signs anywhere, but I would think this would probably be the spot that was the royal chambers because the views over there overlook the lake and everything looks really grand. Just the fireplaces and if you just look up at like the windows, all of the extra decorative pieces. So this could have very well been the chamber that the marriage was or wasn't consummated in, but it's probably where Arthur Tudor actually died. It's so cool to be standing in these places. I think I can get lost in this place. It's huge. I had no idea how big this castle ruin was. Guess who else lived here? You know those famous princes in the tower? The ones that were murdered, I still think by Richard III, but many think it was the Tudors or whoever else. Well, his son, before he was captive, Edward, lived here because the future King of England was the Prince of Wales, and this is where the Prince of Wales lived, right here at Ludlow Castle, on the border of Wales and England. Here the church bells ringing from Ludlow Cathedral, right over the castle wall over there. It's cool. It just sets the whole ambiance. Look at how cool this walkway is with the old door that's pretty much half missing. Wow. Look at this. Wow, just think. Who's touched this door? So did they or didn't they? Let's be realistic. Back in the medieval days, you had to consummate the marriage for it to be legal. And dowries were paid, contracts were signed, countries were sealed together. I find it very hard to believe that they did not. But Catherine of Aragon was super, like, pious, religious, if you know anything about Catherine. I don't think she would lie, but I do think she'd do whatever she had to do to stay Queen of England, because she felt that was her right, and to keep her daughter Mary legit and in succession for the line. We've made it to the top. Spectacular. There's the river raging down there. There it is behind me, the towns of Ludlow. We're at the top of Ludlow Castle. I am inside Castle Lodge, which is right outside the castle. This is where they say Catherine of Aragon stayed right before she married Arthur. It's a really old place. It's really cool to walk through and see all the old stuff. Oh, speaking of Catherine, there she is. So I'm assuming that means this was her bedroom, overlooking the now market of Ludlow. You have to imagine coming up the river in a boat and just looking up at the Ludlow Castle. I can see where it was intimidating to people.